Yeah.
So,
my talk maybe is a little less structured. Bill did a great job here. I think it sort of captures the whole spirit of Las Vegas. This is at the MGM Grand, and here we have a certain piece of virtual reality here on the Lions. Some general observations. So I'm going to talk particularly about digital storage. And things related to digital storage is all stuff that I thought was really interesting and weird, because the CES show goes from the silly to the sublime. And so I'm going to go into some of these things. First of all, with regard to storage, a lot of the bigger storage companies are showing their products primarily in hotel suites. Of course, there's been some acquisitions. For instance, Western Digital has purchased SanDisk last year. So SanDisk is now rolled with Western Digital, AGST, and that sort of thing. But there were a number of startup external storage to cloud companies in the San Francisco area, which is really one of the really cool areas, especially if you go to the basement. The basement actually was a co-organized by the CTA and also the National Science Foundation. And they included a bunch of small startups and things like that, plus a lot of international goods. They're the cheap seats. Sometimes where you find some of the weirdest and most interesting things. Bigger flash storage devices on display in 2017. I'll show you some of those. And as always, lots of odd things to see in these small booths. Another one. You get more. Bottom. Okay, let's see. And ICCE future directions and storage and memory insights from that. Seagate Technology is one of the companies that had a hotel suite, so you have to get invited to go to this thing. So here's some of the things they were showing. The 5 terabyte, 12 meter high, 2.5 inch drive, and then they have a 2 terabyte, 7 millimeter high, 2.5 inch drive. So this one won't fit in a traditional laptop computer. This one will. So they kind of settled on these two different form factors in terms of the thickness of these 2.5 inch drives. Thunderbolt 3, let's say products. Here's one here. For example, they have a whole bunch of these. Thunderbolt 3 is all over the place using Type-C USB thing. Let's see, this one here, let's see, I can't read that. I know there's some things here where they're talking about 400 megabytes. Here's a SMR, so that's a shingled magnetic recording archive drive, 8 terabytes they're talking about here. There's up to 10 terabytes actually, Western Digital earlier this year said that they were going to make a 12 terabyte a 12 terabyte even 14 terabyte drive by the end of this year. Helium filled 14 terabytes is going to be an SMR. And it's shingled magnetic recording, but you really should punch the overlapping tracks on the previously written track, which is great for writing, not so good to read, or not so good when you have to rewrite. It's great in writing once the first time. You can read all the time, but when you have to rewrite, there's overhead to doing that. So you need cache, you need spare area for the drive, for the data, etc. So, but there are applications where that's appropriate, like archiving, or even set-top boxes that are also recording videos. And interesting thing, they also announced the Amazon and DJI partnerships. Now, DJI is that big Chinese drone company, so apparently they're making probably flash memory-based storage modules that are going to be interfacing with these cameras. DJI. That's what I wrote there. Well, it could be, but that's probably the Amazon drive. They also had a partnership with Amazon, so that was an Amazon drive right there. Western Digital. So Western Digital, as I said before, includes SanDisk as well as HGST, GTech, all that other stuff. NVM NAND flash drives are using a PCI interface, or a special format PCI interface. That's going to be really big this year. Things started to show up last year. This year it's really taking off. They were showing this WD black PCIe M.2 form factor drive, particularly for gamers. So high performance drives for gamers. They also have high performance USB SSD speeds up to 420 megabytes per second. Right there. I didn't show here, but they had the MyCloud, which is a NAS storage device. There were a number of these around there. An SSD and hard disk drive personal storage, and they have a WD's gone to what they call a green, blue, and a black configuration. Green is energy efficient, black is high performance, and blue is sort of in between. And there's also home entertainment and AV storage. Here's an AV external storage module for expanding your digital video recorder, which probably requires you to hack it so they're able to get home without having this around disposal or video. So here's some anyway, here's some pictures there. Here's these M.2 NVMe drives. Here's a green drive, actually solid state green drive, you see it's probably lower performance. And this is that SanDisk drive that we talked about before, 120 megabytes per second on USB. That's pretty cool.
Tom?
Yeah.
What are some of the capacities, the ones on the top?
These? Oh, this one I think is about, I think this is a 500, no, it's 256 gigabytes they're showing here. Here's a 500 gigabyte, the black one they're showing there is 256, but they come in different capacities. You pay more generally for the higher capacity, especially with flash.
Tom?
Yeah.
Western Digital have any 5 terabyte hard disk drive in competition with Seagate or not?
Yeah, on the 2.5 inch, I think so. You know, we probably should hold the questions to the end. That's not very it is interesting. Yeah. Toshiba. So Toshiba is the oldest, last other hard disk drive company out there, but they also are one of the largest flash memory companies out there. They had a hotel suite also with WDs, and those guys are public. Most of their stuff is not public. They're showing hard disk drive and SSD products, client as well as enterprise. So here is a some solid state product here. Here's an M.2 product. And let's see. Here's some hard drives here. So there's capacity hard enterprise hard drive. That's a 15,000 RPM hard drive. Slowly but surely becoming a vanishing species, but it's probably going to take a while for these things to go away. And then here's some little SSDs here, and they're really kind of interesting. There's some other pictures of them down here. The mobile NVMe product, NVMe, and here's a M.2 NVMe. This is a ball grid array type device. In fact, they had a 512 gigabyte SSD for client computers that they were showing here. So here's a couple different configurations. There's a ball grid, and there's a sort of mini M.2 interface. So that was some of this. Oh, here's a big honker of a PCIe drive that they're showing. It'd be a high performance PCIe product here for enterprise applications. These are all enterprise SSDs here of different types. These are enterprise hard disk drives. These are some of those little client devices here. Samsung also, they actually were showing stuff on the floor. They had a hotel exhibit, but they actually had quite a bit of stuff on the floor there, which I thought was kind of interesting. Here is the latest version of their solid state or SSD external drive, which you can plug into a computer. They're showing there. Here is a larger view of their NVMe SSDs 960 Pro, which has a pretty high performance. That's 3,500 megabytes per second read, 2,100 megabytes per second write. Here is a enterprise data center. These are all flash memory products they're showing here. Drives here is a client PC, drives in various configurations. Here's their USB Type-C flash drive that they had that they're showing a prototype. And there was a real interesting computer concept which kind of reminded me a little bit of the Mac Pro, the little garbage can tube. This one was a tubular thing, and they had a speaker on top of it. So it was kind of modular. There's a speaker on top of it. There was a hard disk drive module, which is round, so it really fits a hard disk drive. And then here's the rest of the computer with the flash memory and other stuff in it. And these things are all removable, so you pop one off and you pop the other one off. So that was a computer concept they had. It was kind of cool. I don't know how much it cost. I call it a tubular computer. So there's an Evo, and by the way, Samsung is delivering everything in this 3D NAND flash. So there's an Evo with 3D SSDs up to 4 terabytes capacity we're showing here. Type-C USBs, enterprise client SSDs showing here. So that's what Samsung is doing. Now, some things focused on game storage, because of course that's a big consumer application. Here is another picture of that WD Black. This actually is a 512 gigabyte capacity for those one node capacity of these things. So that's a high performance M.2, much larger than live, actually lifestyle for a gaming computer. Seagate was showing these PlayStation computers here, but they have all the configurations. Toshiba acquired OCZ and this LCZ PCIe high-performance flash device for games. So those are a few of the products that were there for game storage. There were some large flash devices out there a few years ago. I think it was 3 years ago or 4 years ago. Kingston was showing a 1 terabyte USB stick. So this year they showed a 2 terabyte USB stick. I actually went and checked what the price of the 1 terabyte was. I looked at Nextech. I think it said it was like $2,766. These are not for the faint of heart.
It's not Type C.
It's not Type C. No, that one is not Type C. This one might be Type C. You can't see it there. Yeah, the old one is. The new one might be.
Oh yeah, it is.
I think it is. Yeah. Yeah. See it over there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then there's a SanDisk 1 terabyte SD card. Okay. You need a 1 terabyte SD card. And I also visited Marvell. They had a suite over at the Sands where they were showing stuff. So they were showing their SSD controllers for 3D NAND support. And there's a slide from one of their presentations here showing how good they really are. They support make little like ball group array SSDs with their your flash memory and their control. So things of that sort. Emerging storage and memory technology. I don't think it was officially a CES announced, but it was made during CES. But Intel announced that they were going to be introducing by next quarter their 3D cross-point technology, which we believe is a phase change in resistor brand technology, in an M.2 form factor for shipping it for a solid-state drive. The earlier announcement said they were going to do some like NVM DIMM type configuration memory bus. Now it looks like they're going for a PCIe-based device. Micron has made a similar announcement. So Intel calls their 3D crosspoint the new name Octane, and Micron has their version of this, which is probably going to be something similar, a NVMe type product, which they're calling Quant X. Okay, so that's supposed to also be showing up by next quarter. That's their Quantec. Sorry, this should have been OptX. Global Foundries actually got a hospitality suite, which is kind of interesting. Global Foundries, big foundry. Well, part of the reason they did this, they had a number of things they're making semiconductors, they go into semiconductors. But one of the things I thought was interesting is they've got a deal with Everspin, which did an IPO last year. They're a company making spin-tone transfer magnetic random access memory devices. So they're making 300 millimeter wafers to support Everspin's standalone chips. But Global Foundries said they're going to develop embedded computer devices with magnetic random access memory as part of it. So that's part of what they were doing at the suite, one of the things they were showing. So I put a slide up there from an announcement they made of their EMRAM embedded magnetic random access memory technology. It's interesting because it's more expensive than DRAM right now. But with companies like Global Foundries and other large manufacturers starting to manufacture, because the CMOS compatible process is as fast as DRAM. It has as good an endurance as DRAM, which means it's really good endurance, and it's non-volatile. So
it's core is coming back.
Core is coming back. I think it's magnetic. Future's magnetic. You control magnetism.
I want the toggle switches on the front of the computer.
No. Okay. No, it's going to be mine. It's going to be mine. It's going to be magnetic.
That's right.
So also personal cloud storage. There were a bunch of really interesting and some fascinating and some mad cloud storage technologies out there. Here's some examples. Of course, here's my cloud. That's a NAS product, conventional NAS device, your whole network. But also you could access it remotely, therefore it's your own personal cloud. But there were some interesting companies out there. There was some company called Lima, Moore, and Foxborough. Okay. Here's another one. Here's this Lima thing. So they actually were a Kickstarter. It was really interesting. There was actually an organized Kickstarter. There was a folder of Kickstarter. Companies were doing Kickstarter campaigns at CES. Actually, actively promoted. I met the guys who were doing this thing. So So they're actually, promoting, doing Kickstarter campaigns and these consumer electronic products. Well, here's one of them, which was this cloud-based device that had local storage, but also cloud-based storage. Here's an interesting version of that, which is a USB stick by this outfit called More. I think they were from France. And what they said they did is they said it had unlimited storage. Okay? Obviously, it wasn't unlimited in the USB stick. What they said is that they had intelligent algorithms that looked at how you use data to make sure the stuff you used most likely want to use would be on your USB stick you needed. So that's their claim. This outfit called Box Drive seems to be a well-funded variation on peer-to-peer storage, where you're using people's client computers to store other people's stuff. You basically lease your space. I'm actually going to talk to them later on this week. They're out of England, but they have names that sound like
You've already stored stuff on your computer, you just don't know it.
Well, I mean, you might be able to do this legit, and that's their claim. They're able to do this legitimately, it's like low cost, and essentially everything's on the edge, right? So you got edge delivery. You get lots of copies of other people's stuff everywhere. That's very trend. So it could work. But I thought it was interesting. Like I say, you see the silliness of lying, and you see stuff that may have enough madness that might actually work. Or may not.
Or you could use that for ransomware.
Could be all kinds of things. But, give it a chance. See what happens. And of course, Seagate was for digital others. Everybody likes to be a repository nowadays. Plus, you got all the big guys, Amazon, Google, storage for creative work. So there's some interesting stuff there. Here is a Seagate in their hotel suite had this big room with a whole bunch of scenarios they set up. And one was they had the DJI guy, and they had a drone cage, drone cage. They were flying a drone in there, so they were talking about how much storage you use by cameras on drones, by 2020. And then they had another VR stuff, one where someone mentioned something about going up on a hotel, someone wanted to go up a hotel floor, in an elevator, partially open. Going 37 floors, there's a plank above on the top, right? So you get out there and you look at this darn plank. Of course, there's no room on it. Except they actually put a piece of wood underneath you while you're supposed to be going up this thing. Yeah. So I was on the edge of this plank, looking at this thing, and don't fall off, you'll die. Right? And I know that I'm not in the air, but I was not willing to walk in the darn plank. It's just me, I guess. But anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting. They also had a bunch of creative stuff there. For one thing, they had someone who was making Van Gogh type pictures or all kinds of, they actually hired artists who was making computers and stuff. Here's one of the places that are showing, let's say, here in the exhibit with this. There also was an outfit called CryArt from Berkeley, apparently. It's like doing subsurface radar imaging and stuff like that, archaeological digs, digitizing that, turning that to 3D reality recreation. So I did that. That was pretty cool. Way old, some places in Greece you can see the Greek stuff. They show you the Roman stuff, the Byzantine stuff on top of it. It's really kind of cool. There are also QNAP, that's another large storage company here, creative storage devices to support work there. And Bill mentioned a bunch of 360 cameras. Here's one of these here that was on display in the Intel booth, which is kind of cool, and that's the NBC thing. So here's some other stuff, just an idea in terms of the data. This is the things I was talking about from the ICTV conference. For cars, you need big data. So you guys can store some of it now, especially if you're doing about 1 gigabyte per second in the autonomous car. You're probably not going to keep all that, you're going to process all that. That's all the cameras. That's all the LiDAR, radar. All the sensors give the information. And if an average U.S. driver drives 600 hours per year, that means that you're generating, not necessarily keeping, 2 petabytes per car per year on average. If you've got 1 billion cars worldwide, which you get there, that's a lot of data. A petabyte would be, that would be 2,000 terabytes. 2 petabytes would be 2,000 terabytes. Okay, so the potential size of the data generated altogether by autonomous cars is kind of large. That's just one IoT thing. So most of the stuff that we get is mostly processed. Right? The value is using the data, not the data itself. So the resulting long-term storage, you're probably thinking although they're talking about the storage in automobiles by 2020, these cars that have this autonomous kind of capabilities for ABS, advanced driver assistance systems, you need about a terabyte of storage in the car by next decade. So memory trends in automobiles, and just even state-of-the-art internal combustion engine cars is about 40% of the value of the car is electronics. With a hybrid or a full electric vehicle, that can jump by 75% of the value of the car. Cars are essentially becoming, people say, they're rolling data centers. They're nothing else. They're certainly becoming big electronic devices. The total label market for semiconductor memories in automobiles is expected to grow at a higher cumulative annual growth rate than other applications. It's currently felt to be about 5% of the market, but Micron guys felt that last year they could grow something like 10% of the market within the next few years. So, back into those things. Okay, now here's where I get into some of the things I saw kind of interesting. There's a bunch of do-it-yourself maker type things. And some of it was 3D printing, right? But some of it was interesting 3D printing. There was a rather larger, there was a smaller outfit that was printing carbon fiber stuff. And that actually was a small printer, okay? But this guy actually was very sophisticated. And needling in the process of manufacturing these materials and stuff. And this obviously is not a consumer unit, but they're showing it there. It's pretty cool stuff. And the materials that they're starting to be able to print in these things is getting interesting and sophisticated. You know, people actually do very useful prototypes of stuff, or even repair, you know, things that break. You know, these things. Now another 3D printer here. This actually is some guys I saw them last year. I did a video for the Brighter V for the maker here. They're at Santa Clara University. They're in the maker lab. They spun out this company called Seed with an E backwards, and they're making bioprinting devices, bio 3D printing stuff. I don't think they're doing tissues yet, but they're talking about using this for medical analysis and that sort. So they were in the cheap seats in the lower part of the sands, kind of there. There was here was the United States Postal Patent Office, patent and trademark office, but had a display there. Apparently, this is kind of a joke. It's a lost cat magnet. If you lost your cat, it kind of looks like if anyone see the picture of the Edison's first tattoo machine, electric tattoo machine, patents like that. Anyway, this was a microbrewery, a very cheap microbrewery. You actually get, if you look closely here, these are name brands like Stone Brewing and stuff like that. You can make it at home with their recipe in your little home brewing device. So there are Pico breweries. There are about 3 or 4 of these companies that were, one was from Europe, that were making these little microbrewing things. And you can brew in your own living room. You know?
How long does it take to brew a beer?
It could take a few weeks. Yeah. But it's yours. You still have to ferment it.
What's electronic about?
Here was Bose. Well, it's a device. It's a device for controlling and mixing stuff, grinding for, putting stuff together. That's what electronic. Plus, you can spend a lot. You can buy a lot of beer. Bose had actually a build-your-own speaker kit here, which I thought was pretty cool. And in the course of doing that, you learn how a solenoid works, right? Because it's got a little solenoid here, you can watch the thing hopping up and down as you turn the solenoid on. And so you learn how voice code works and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was pretty cool. So this is some interesting things I saw at the show here. Other odds and ends. This was a e-ink display associated with a camera on a backpack. Everyone needs one of those. Augmented reality is all over the place. One thing, this actually relates to one of the things that Bill was talking about using IR to see behind walls and see stuff in the walls. Okay, so it's some sort of augmented reality, so you can do it on your phone, right? Here was an interesting thing, which was a smart cycle for kids. This actually was a larger version of that with an adult on it. This was a ARM Cortex SoC on plastic that was shown here. I thought that was kind of neat. Building an ARM core.
It's bendable.
It's bendable.
Flexible.
Yeah, it's on look at this thing. It's pretty floppy looking. Here was a drone that you can fold up. It had those nice cages, so it's a little harder to destroy your pellet. tends to do, so we get one of these things, right? This was a mad thing that I saw. I think it was in the Toshiba booth. I think it
What's the
was.
scale on that?
It's like that. So it's a little display device that also has a camera on it, and it's a balloon. So, take that to your next party, you could like your party. And then there was the water bottle speaker and charge system. So, like I say, the CES show goes from the silly to the sublime, and sometimes they're combined together in interesting ways. So that's my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Oh, that was the last slide.
That's my last slide.
Okay, let me see.